Time now for your forewarned weather with Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy.
All right, Alana, and we can feel for all those people out east knowing all too well what that's like.
We have lived that, Glenn, but the jet stream and our winds keeping that out of the area. Tonight, air quality clean for most of our northern Utah counties, Salt Lake and Davis County in the moderate category, but that's due to ozone, which we'll see actually lessen as we head into tonight. Elevated particulate matter not in the Beehive State with the help of the jet stream pushing those thicker plumes of smoke over to the east coast, New England, from New York to Chicago. Those thicker conditions noticeable out there with that elevated particulate matter. Air quality is something we have dealt with in the past, but not this year. No, we've got an active pattern, Brian, catching the storms coming down into Willa County. Some virga there, meaning precipitation actually evaporating before it hit the ground. Southerly winds keeping our temperatures on the warmer side, but we saw storms, and even in the last few hours, those storms tracking from south to north, quieting down as we head into the overnight, but we had enough moisture potential in the area that we saw some of those storms fire off. Highest wind gusts there. Look at Logan, 54-mile-per-hour gusts. Salt Lake gusting in the 30-mile-per-hour range. So did the West Desert. St. George saw a 30-mile-per-hour wind speed today. So we know those outflow winds from our thunderstorms keep things popping. 83 is where we topped out. Upper 70s in Cache Valley, 86 in Moab, 87 in St. George. The 90s are going to make a comeback for a portion of the state heading into tomorrow. And the thunderstorm threat, it holds on too for northern Utah into the central portion of the state, the West Desert, but it's a general thunderstorm threat, and we actually lose a little bit of lift. And that's because the area of low pressure that's weakening is actually sliding away from the Beehive State. So we're going to lessen the chance of an isolated storm, but we can't completely rule it out. That weakening or decaying area of low pressure will quiet things down as we head to our first part of the weekend, but then another moves in to replace it, and the storm chance, well, it doesn't go away. It dips into Saturday. So warning you about your weekend plans, a drier day expected for Saturday, and then Sunday the chances of storms go up, and that's also the case for the beginning of the work week. Futurecast times out any potential storms tomorrow, likely tied to the higher elevations and adjacent valleys. Futurecast showing us what to expect tonight. Quiet conditions. Here we are by 2 p.m. Over the mountains, we'll get some dark clouds, maybe an isolated storm. West Desert right there on the line, state line between Nevada and Utah, could maybe see a storm coming through. But then again, gusty winds just expected. With that low moving away from the Beehive State, we're going to lessen the chance of these soaking thunderstorms that we've seen throughout the week. Some isolated activity showing up on the model in central Utah by ABC4 News at 10 tomorrow. And then isolated activity with the slight chance on Saturday. That changes and bumps up into Sunday. Temperatures into tonight in the 50s. We'll have a cooler start to the day along the Wasatch Front. Outlying areas in the upper 40s. We'll also see that in Cedar City. 50s in Moab. Upper 50s in St. George. Daytime highs tomorrow staying slightly above average, close to seasonal norms. 80 is where we usually are. 81 in Salt Lake. We'll warm things up in St. George with drier air, and those 90s on the way. 70s, 80s, and 90s. Take your pick. Temperature-wise, we've got you covered. Wasatch Front has the potential slight chance of a storm. So eyes to the skies if you're going to be recreating. We're backing off of flash flood potential. The Mighty 5 looking clear for tomorrow. Unlikely when it comes to storms and flooding. St. George 7-day showing the 90s turning into 80s. So some cooler air as that next area of low pressure treks through the desert southwest and keeps us unsettled. That progressive pattern shows up for the Wasatch Front. 80s. And then scattered storms by Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. Now, the middle of the week, little less certain. Isolated storms on Wednesday. We could dry a little faster. Notice how those temperatures climb back up into the 80s. A few days in the 70s, but wet weather will be in tow. I know, 70s, perfect temperature. Wish we could get that with a little sunshine. Am I right, Glenn?
So right.